Hey everyone, so Thunderbolts. This film has already sparked a wide range of reactions, some of them bad, some decent, some plenty are downright frustrating. Early reviewers leaned so hard into positive feedback that the backlash was just as extreme on the negative side. Rather than get pulled into that storm, I decided to step back and let the movie breathe a little so that I could form my own thoughts without someone else's review drowning them out. Thunderbolts isn't a story about flawless heroes, massive final battles, or even perfect storytelling. At its core, it's about fractured people trying to figure out who they are and where they belong. More than that, it's about characters defined by their worst day, pushed to rise above those moments and still do the right thing, even when it's messy. That may not look like a traditional hero, but for younger generations, it may be exactly what a hero looks like today. And it was something that I kind of liked in this film. So let's talk about what Thunderbolts is really doing and what it's not. Thunderbolts follows an unlikely team of antiheroes working under Valentina, the director of the CIA. Tasked with covert missions that are morally questionable at best, Yelena started to question her purpose after her sister's death and finds herself in this early midlife crisis at 28 years old. She craves something more meaningful, something she can own and be proud of, but she's stuck in a rut. Her boss doesn't see her as anything beyond the roles she's currently filling, which means there's no upward or even sideways path for her to follow in her career. Meanwhile, Valentina is facing impeachment by the Senate. To cover her tracks, she sets out to wipe away all the evidence of her illegal programs and experiments, including her misfit squad of operatives. That leaves Yelena and the others trapped inside Valentina's vault with no way out unless they start figuring out how to work together. And that's the setup. Each of them wants more from life. Their employer sees them as expendable, and it takes a hard, unavoidable reckoning for them to realize they have no future unless they find a different path. The characters here are built around almost identical arcs, distinguished only by subtle shades of gray. It's a compelling thematic idea. Yelena, Ghost, U.S. Agent, or John Walker, Red Guardian, and Bob all wrestling with the same core conflict, but it ends up diluting the emotional payoff when every character faces the same struggle, crisis, and growth. None of them get the space they need to truly evolve. For me, that's the film's biggest limitation. It's not that it was bad, it just never became good in the way that you could feel it was reaching for, but never quite achieved. Each of these characters has failed themselves in different ways. At the start, they're thinly drawn both by the story and by design, relegated to second string players in Valentina's narrative. Their very identities are shaped by how she sees them. And that's a revealing truth, and it resonates really with anyone who's ever felt defined more by someone else's vision than their own. Despite its flaws, Thunderbolts is ultimately about how this group of so called losers begins reclaiming their own stories by choosing to do the right thing when it matters. This isn't just about reluctant heroes or forced teamwork. It's Marvel searching for what heroism looks like in a world where the rules don't make sense. Or more likely, I think it's probably trying to speak to a 20 something audience that doesn't see much of a future for themselves. And honestly, I really do think it's the latter there, since that's the audience Marvel most needs to get back into the theaters for the future. That shift becomes clear when Bucky Barnes, who's already fought his way back from darkness, joins this group of misfits. He becomes their catalyst for transformation, pushing the team to reach for the versions of themselves they've secretly imagined but never achieved. These Avenger wannabes start out hollow, broken, and laughable, but that's the point of them, even if it takes a little too long to get through all that. It's only when they begin making sense of their chaos that something real emerges, especially through Bob, which is why it isn't a traditional superhero story. It's about confronting and rebuilding the brittle identities imposed on them by others. Bob's very existence cracks Valentina's carefully constructed illusions, and those fractures, they deepen with the arrival of the Void. And while they do need each other to varying degrees, this isn't a metaphor for mental health. It's about character growth, even if the film doesn't give them enough room to fully show it. That's where the early reviews went wrong, framing Thunderbolts as a grand metaphor for mental illness. That lens just didn't align with audiences that actually saw it, which is why the film felt off when people tried to reconcile those reviews with their own experience. Yes, some may interpret it that way because of Bob's character, but that focus is just too reductive. It flattens the story by reducing the other characters' journeys to a single theme they were never meant to carry. We see the film's biggest character issues through Yelena's journey. To really understand her arc, you need to see the Black Widow film from 2021, and that's always a problem. Not everyone has watched every Marvel installment, and audiences shouldn't need to do homework just to grasp the weight of a story. A little more context would have gone a long way. The same is true of Bucky. His role as the catalyst for heroism in Thunderbolts only resonates if you followed him through multiple MCU films. In this story, his arc comes full circle. He helps this group of misfits find their path to redemption, doing for them what Steve Rogers once did for him. That works especially well when applied to John Walker. And the fact that he's in this film really does ground that full circle moment for him. And the blueprint is there, but the film just never fully commits to developing any of these arcs. And that's the curse of ensemble stories, especially when the characters aren't household names and the redemption beats all feel the same. The one real attempt at deeper character work comes from Bob's connection to the void, a power that traps people inside their darkest memories. Yelena, John Walker, and Valentina, they each get a brief glimpse before Bob loses control. Those glimpses give us a sense of his inner conflict and how the void can be twisted or used to heal. But the story only explores it meaningfully through Bob and Yelena's connection, leaving everyone else on the sidelines. For Ghost, John, Bucky, and Red Guardian, they follow Yelena into the void, but we never see what they endure, how they find one another, or how they locate Bob and Yelena. That absence robs the film of a crucial bonding moment. Instead, Yelena's rescue plays like a deus ex machina, with the team just appearing at the climax, and the emotional payoff just never lands. It feels like scenes inside the void were cut to save time because everything in the structure points to a bonding sequence that never made it into the final cut of the film. If those scenes were filmed, their removal was a mistake. If they were never written, it's an even bigger one, a fundamental misunderstanding of what ensemble storytelling requires at its most pivotal moment. Just 5 to 7 minutes of shared struggle inside the void really could have earned the ending here. Without it, the climax just kind of falls flat. Thunderbolts is a film about a cinematic universe weighed down by cynicism. It pokes fun at itself through these characters, mocks Marvel through its storylines, and all but admits to the audience that the universe no longer makes sense. Yet within that chaos, the film re enters what it means to be a hero. Looking at it through the eyes of a younger audience, I started to see the hope that it offers, hope rooted in the simple act of doing the right thing when it matters. Also, the moral failure here is embodied in Valentina. She rules through fear, discards people when they break, and reappears only when she can use them again. Bob's tragedy is the proof that she created him, weaponized him, and manipulated him. And when he stopped being useful, she tried to erase him. I can't help but wonder if this is Marvel's way of admitting it feels the fatigue too. Maybe the studio knows the morally gray area of superheroes is ending and that audiences are ready for characters grounded once again in hope and order. Despite its flaws, Thunderbolts reintroduces something Marvel has been missing: the hero's journey, reimagined through an ensemble lens. It's messy and it's uneven, but at its core, it's a powerful theme. Heroism isn't about perfection, it's about persistence and choice. Yelena is the hero here. She isn't just searching for a mission, she's searching for identity, meaning, and the courage to become someone she's proud of. Her journey begins in numbness, but through the chaos, she starts to choose differently, stepping into the version of herself that she always wanted to be. Bucky Barnes serves as the mentor. He's lived through darkness and come back from it. No longer just the Winter Soldier, he's proof that redemption is possible as the team's reluctant moral compass. He challenges them to move beyond survival towards something better. Valentina is the shadow, not just the villain, but an ideology. Her worldview insists there are no good guys, only bad and worse guys. She embodies power without conscience and without care. Through her, the film forces both the characters and the audience to question what heroism really means. The allies are Ghost, John Walker, Red Guardian, and Bob, and they're a fragile constellation of characters. Ghost must be trusted first. Walker is the fallen symbol. Red Guardian is the bruised idealist, still trying to matter. Bob is the innocent, corrupted by power. Together, they reflect fragments of Yelena's journey, and in helping her, they find pieces of their own redemption. Red Guardian also plays this trickster, cutting through heavy moments with humor and truths that push the team towards something resembling family. The Herald is Mel Gold, Valentina's assistant. By pulling Bucky and the other operatives into Valentina's mission, she unwittingly sets the story into motion and sparks her boss's undoing to some degree. The Threshold Guardian is the Void. He's not just a threat, but a test that traps the team in their darkest selves. Only by facing those fears and reaching for each other can they move forward. Again, this isn't a story about defeating a traditional villain. It's about fractured people reclaiming agency, choosing to care, and proving to themselves that they can be more than tools or mistakes. That's what makes Thunderbolts matter. Even when it stumbles, it dares to ask, what does it take to become a hero of your own story? And maybe that's the question the MCU itself is wrestling with as it tries to reclaim its past and chart a path for its future. So, is Thunderbolts worth watching? If you're burned out on superhero films, this probably won't change your mind. It's not revolutionary and it misses some really big opportunities. The rough spots, they're clear. Underdeveloped character arcs, story threads that feel cut short, and an overall sense that this could have been a stronger Marvel entry. None of these flaws sink the film on their own, but together they make it feel like an underpowered Marvel movie that wanted to be great, but never quite got there. That said, Thunderbolts does have meaning. If you go in with fresh eyes and tune out the noise of early reviewers, you'll find something worth watching. Some of the harsher criticisms are just overblown because this isn't a bad film. It's just not the bright, shiny story it aimed to be. What it does offer is a reminder that people can shape their own future, which gives it a unique place in the Marvel universe. And honestly, it works better on streaming than it did in the theaters. Watching it at home makes the experience more enjoyable, more relaxed, and in some ways, it's a better fit for the story that's being told. So, Thunderbolts, did you actually catch it during the theater run? Did you wait and stream it at home? I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. Leave a comment below and tell me what worked or didn't for you and whether the early reviews affected your experience. Thanks for sticking with me on this one. Please give this review a thumbs up, subscribe, and share it with a friend. Don't forget to drop a comment below because I always enjoy hearing your thoughts, even when we don't agree. I'll see you again soon. And in the meantime, I hope you're watching something good. If so, let me know what it is. That's all I've got for you today. Happy viewing, everybody. I'll see y'all later. Bye for now.